Well, it's an evening of glitz and glamour out here at Melrose Arch in Johannesburg as we celebrate the Olympic stars of yesteryear. So KFM has invited some of the legends to share with us their experiences, where they're from, how they became Olympians, and of course how they became champions. And hopefully reminisce a little bit, go down memory lane and share some of their experiences and impart their knowledge to the new stars that will be coming up, especially as we look ahead to the 2016 Rio Olympics. It promises to be an evening filled with glamour as well as a lot of memories. Stay with us.
Very good evening to you, Mkaya. We're coming to you from the Goliath Comedy Club, but what we're talking about certainly is an inspiring subject, but not always a laughing matter. With the Olympic Games coming up fairly soon, we're looking back on a quite extraordinary Games in Atlanta in 1996. Penny Haynes winning gold in the pool, Hezekiel Sepeng a wonderful silver medal on the track in the 800 meters, and no one will ever forget, or maybe some have, Josiah Tugwane winning the marathon. An absolutely extraordinary moment right at the end of those Olympic Games. So yes, we're looking back and we'll look at other Olympic Games as well with some other athletes, but we're also going to look ahead. Where does the next generation of athletes come from? And we're not just talking about Rio, we're talking about Olympic Games beyond and beyond. So lots to talk about. My first two guests are both people who've experienced the magic of the Olympic Games. First of all, Hezekiel Sepeng, now involved with Athletics South Africa, but maker of many memories for us. Great to have you with us on Kaya.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And I could introduce him in the same way, except he's working with young people at a different age. Llewellyn Herbert, bronze medalist over the 400-meter hurdles in Sydney. Great success at World Championships and indeed at World Junior Champs. And he's now a teacher at Brandwag High on the East Rand in Ekurhuleni, where he teaches, he said, discipline and sport. Or maybe the other way around, sport and discipline. But it's wonderful to have you both. We'll talk later to Khotso Mokoena. We'll hear about some interesting programs that are being run and the people who are running them for general sports development. And we are going to talk as well to Josiah Tugwane. Looking very much forward to that. But Hezekiel, let me start with this. What is special about Olympic Games? Because athletes will compete all over the place. World champs, IAAF, things. Why is the Olympics that one big thing, if indeed it is?
You know, people have asked me that question, asked me that, are you running for only a medal?
Yes.
At first, you know, in 1992, I've got a lot of medals that I've achieved before that. And only realizing after 1996 what it really means to win that Olympic medals. The difference with the world champs, it comes only after 4 years, and you know, and that medal is worth a lot. You know, you might not have money at the same time when you get a medal, but after the medal, you are well known all over the world.
Yes.
You can get endorsement, and yeah, you are a sports figure.
You know, Llewellyn, I'm going to ask you that question in a minute, but I want to ask you this one. One of the amazing things about athletics on television, I think, is the build-up. I mean, for some races like the 100 meters, it's really over very quickly, but it's in the build-up. The cameras look into people's eyes. You get a sense of who's running. Take us to what it's like being at the start line. Does part of you wish it was over, and does part of you just wish you could get going?
Well, you know, when I started, I just visualized my whole race before time. About a week before my race, I started visualizing and go into the focus mode, and everybody asks you how does it feel to be there and stand there before the race. But it's a feeling you can't describe to anybody.
Yes, but I'm asking you to try.
Yeah, but you know what? It's all these thousands of people around you, watching you, competing for yourself and for your country, and it's just a feeling that the most amazing feeling to go into the blocks and get set, go, and run around the track. Like, everybody wants to see the fastest man in the world, the 100 meters, the most popular event. But like Ezekiel for 800 meter and Khotso and everybody wants to see the best in the world in a specific event.
What is the atmosphere between athletes like? I mean, is it generally friendly? Presumably there's not much hugging and wishing each other good luck, but is it respectful, or do some people play games?
Very respectful.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not sure about the 100 meter before times. They like send out the rabbit and stuff like that. But before you're friends, but when you go to the warm-up area, it's enemies.
And dead quiet?
Dead quiet, you don't speak to other people because you focus on your race and concentrate what you have to do, the build-up and everything, what's going to happen in the race and so on.
Atlanta, I mean, you went there obviously very hopeful of a medal, a lot of people expecting you to do well. But the night before, do you sleep? Is it a fitful night?
No, you can't sleep. You're dreaming and waking up. You know, the night before my race, I was dreaming, racing, coming into that last 100. Instead of me seeing myself winning, I will fall.
Yes.
And I will wake up, try to sleep again. But what happened to me, you know, I can still now describe it because I dreamt, then I won the bronze medal.
Yes.
In that dream. And that was exactly the same medal that I saw from Penny Haynes.
Yes.
During the day, you know, because the swimming was before athletics. And I woke up again. I didn't see who I was running against. You know, I always say, you know, when you dream, it's like aliens or people you don't see. Then I asked myself, is it possible that I'm going to win at these games? And the answer was, Hezekiel, you're lying to yourself. You will not even get a medal. You know,
really?
You're lucky to be in the final. This is your first Olympic Games. And as everybody is saying, you know, you go to the first Olympic Games, you get experience. Then the second one, you've got the experience, now you can go for medal, yeah.
So, Llewellyn, I want to go to the middle of your career. You did really, really well in World Junior Champs. I believe you were the fastest in the world at your event over a particular year in that age group. And there have been a lot of athletes who've excelled, and by the way, in other sports, not just on the track, have done really, really well. Winners of Junior Wimbledon, they often disappear. What is it about that period between being an incredibly promising youngster and an incredibly successful athlete where things can either go right or go wrong?
I think definitely management. You know, if you've got a young athlete and he's doing very well and he's getting lots of money, then if the management's not right, then he's going to just spend all the money and then go out at night and spend the money and drink and stuff like that.
Yes.
You know, and then afterwards it gets to you. All the partying and spending money gets to you, and it gets to the sport as well.
And in terms of coaching, I mean, how well stocked are we, Hezekiel, for athletics coaches in South Africa? Because some people I heard say earlier, and I'm trying to place the reference, that they tend to be older and that we're not producing enough 25, 35-year-old coaches
I think
who
can
grow over the next few years.
Yes, you need few years. Nowadays, there's more coaches that are younger, but obviously they will need to get an experience. You know, they will make mistakes at the beginning. Some athletes will perform, some will not perform. But those who are older, you know, they've got experience. They've gone through that route before of coaching and getting disappointed. You know, I do coach myself
yes.
also, and the problem that I see is I still got that the mentality that I was when I was an athlete. I want the results. You know,
yes.
When an athlete does not perform, and then I think you know, I tend to lose hope a little bit quickly. But it will be experience leading forward, yeah.
I mean, it must be interesting. I'm just staying with you for a minute. If you've been an outstanding athlete yourself, and there are other people who either run or train differently to you, or perhaps don't have potential in the same way that you did, it must be quite a challenge not to get impatient, as you say, and say, it's straightforward. Whereas, you know, we're all wired and built differently. How do you overcome that?
Yeah, it's as we're saying, experience counts, and the good thing about myself, I look at where I come from, the road that I've traveled in running. So I'm trying to put that also in coaching. You know, being patient, understand that you will not achieve what you want in one season, and that's why I also work with younger athletes, 17, 18, and the bigger picture is 2020 for them. So I've put a goal that I will work with them until the 2020 and see the results there.
Llewellyn, you grew up in Bethel, not the biggest of towns, but often in those small towns, there's quite a lot of passion for sport. What was available to you as an athlete? Presumably you were doing other things, rugby and other sports, but when you decided or somebody said to you, hey, you can run, what kind of resources were available to you?
When I started, I was in grade 1. I just did athletics for the school and competed, and after athletic season, rugby and so on. And I just kept on going. And after matric, I went to Pretoria, and I decided, should I go play rugby after athletics or just stay with the athletics? And luckily, my athletics career started in 1996 and exploded. First time that I ran a Pilgrimage against senior athletes, it was a 49, 46 or something like that. And then I realized, damn, I'm actually very good in athletics, so I should go on and pursue it and stuff like that. But coming from Bethel, it doesn't matter where you come from. You know, if you've got a goal and a dream, you just follow the goal and dream and work for what you want.
400 meters hurdles, people often describe that as perhaps the toughest event on the track. Presumably other people will dispute that, but it's certainly a very difficult event. What made you choose that? Did someone pick it for you?
I just, when I started in grade 9 with hurdles, just build up to 200 meter hurdles, 300 meter hurdles, 400 meter hurdles. I just kept on going, doing it. And whenever other people said it's a tough event, I just said to myself, no, it's not. I mean, if you look at my races, after the last 150 meters, I just kept going and coming strong. So, yeah, for me it was a fun event.
Hezekiel, I'm jumping around a lot, but we're just getting into the subject matter. Where do you keep your medals?
Yeah, it depends which medal is that. You know, I've got a lot of medals that I won from SHMs, locally. Those ones I will hang around in the house, in the office. But the World Champs and the Olympic, it's in the safe.
In a safe?
Yes.
Do you ever take it out?
No, not really.
Yeah.
I'm not taking it out. I'm lucky enough to have one in the office at ASA, you know, the duplicate of it. So it's when it's hanging there, so I can pass there and look at it,
Same question, but in a different way. Do you ever look at tapes of races, or do you feel that was then and this is now? Or do you sometimes say, let me watch that race again? I can't believe I did that.
Yeah, no, the race that I usually watch is that 1999 at World Champs, where I came close to winning the gold medal with Wilson, and I still get goosebumps with that race and wish I can just turn back and go and rectify.
Do you feel if you keep watching it, you might win it?
Sometimes I feel maybe Wilson should trip on the tape.
There's a way to put him in slow motion, but it was incredibly close. I want to come back to that, because those close races must be extraordinary things to replay, because we as the public do. We watch them, we keep thinking, oh, nearly there. Or, how amazing, he took the bronze, he took the silver. Hezekiel, our team to go to Rio, you announcing tomorrow.
Yes.
It must be difficult, because you want to balance up the opportunity to give people a 2016 experience that will prepare them for 2020. At the same time, you have to make sure that you're taking the very best as well. How do you do that?
Yeah, look, there is a qualifying standard that is set by SASCOC, which is more similar to the IUC Olympic Games standard. So compared to the previous years, SASCOC, they had their own standard, which were a little bit tough. But this year, we've got more athletes now qualified for the Olympics that has made that standard. So tomorrow it's an announcement. Then, we're hoping that more athletes will attend the games here.
Llewellyn, do you think the public underestimate how difficult it is to win a medal? I mean, you must have, on the way to Sydney, seen newspapers saying, oh, you're a certain for this and you're certain for that. Do you think people have absolutely no idea how hard it is, first of all, to get to the final, but secondly, in those brief seconds, you've got 40-something, you've got a minute something to win your race, that there are 7 other guys, and they're very, very, very good.
Yeah, definitely. You know, what I always say, it's you standing on the track in the blocks and stuff like that, and anything can happen in that 48 seconds. You know, you confident that you're going to win a medal, and
Yes.
you're prepared well, and you feel top fit and stuff like that. But anything can happen. I mean, you just click a hurdle and you can fall. So, and everybody that's going to be there, the 7 other athletes, is on the best of that day. They definitely want to win a medal, and you want to win a medal. So you're fighting against 7 other people.
Do you think that South Africans, by and large, don't do much reading or research about who the other great athletes are in the world, and they love you if you win, and they have a lot to say, having never run more than 20 meters, and that was to make sure they got through the door of the supermarket before it closed.
Remember, there's always the negative people that's sitting on the couch with a beer and a belly like this. And you know, they always, what I always say is, the best coach is sitting next to the field.
Yes.
You know, that guy sitting there on the couch is like, yeah, you could have done better and blah, stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
So people that don't read up who you're competing against.
And don't understand it. Now, I want to ask you this, Llewellyn, and take us into the Olympic Village. And I want to ask you a 2-part question. First of all, what is it like being there? Because there are people from every kind of sport. But secondly, what is it like being part of the South African team? Because there's you and the other guys involved on the track. There's people doing stuff in the pool. There are people shooting. There are people rowing canoes and so on. Do you get involved with each other's events and try and support them? Or do you have to stay in your tunnel, your bubble for your event, which is all important?
Well, first of all, the first question, it's fun.
Okay. Too much fun.
Too much fun. You know, 1996, I went my first time Olympics, 18 years old. And the Coca-Cola machine was just outside my room. So whenever I walked out, I took a Coke, and McDonald's was around the corner. So eating, it was fun. And all the stuff doing there, and even in 2000, 2004 Olympics, it's fun, you know. There's lots to do for the athletes. There's game room, there's everything there is.
Nightclub.
You went to the nightclub.
There's a nightclub inside.
And you know, you see all the other athletes, all the other sports preparing for their events, stuff like that. So it's something new to see what they do, how they do it, and stuff like that.
Olympic Village, Hezekiel, memories?
Yeah, it's nice. You know, I was told by the guys that went to Barcelona that life is great. It's like another world there.
Yes.
Nightclub, McDonald's for free, Coke for free. You just go with your accreditation. You just take a Coke or anything, drink Powerade. There's games that you can play. You don't have to pay. So you can eat the dining hall. It's about 24 hours. You can even wake up 12 o'clock, go back and eat. So that is why a lot of athletes there, they pick up weight there.
I want to ask you this, though. I mean, I've heard that it gets complicated, that some people, the swimmers, competed, I think, in week 1, and when they finished, because they've been training for, what is it? Some of them, it could be 7 years.
Yeah.
And either they've won or they lost, but either way, they are on holiday, and just down the road in a different dormitory is Hezekiel Sepeng trying to think about how quickly he can get around 2 laps. Does that become a problem, or does everyone just accept that that's how it is?
Yeah, it is a problem. In the past, you know, the athlete will finish early and they will not sleep. Like we say, everything is for free. Nightclub is there.
Yes.
They will come up late, some making noise. And you on the corner there, as Ezekiel, you want to focus. You've got problems tomorrow. So that kind of distract the athletes. That is why in 2012, SASCOC introduced the law that once you're done competing, you must go back home.
And buy your own McDonald's.
Go buy your own McDonald's.
This is not an advert. Okay, Kai, I hope you're enjoying this conversation. It really is fascinating. We're with Olympic greats. We're looking back. We're looking ahead. We're getting a sense of what it means to compete at that level with the weight of your country's expectations, reasonable or not, on your shoulders. And we'll continue talking about that.